Good morning. Happy April Fool's Day. Today is Wednesday, April 1st, 2020. And for our math lesson today, we are just going to practice everything we've learned about shapes thus far. So let's open to your textbook and open to lesson 4, which is our practice page. We're going to start by looking at this shape. And inside of this shape, we are looking for squares, rectangles, triangles, and circles. I just put down the first letter of each shape to represent the shapes. So I'm going to start with my squares. How many squares can you see within this picture? I can see 1. There's my 1 square. And here is my second square. I can see 2 squares. Now it says how many rectangles can you see? Let's count the rectangles we can see. Here is 1. Let me change the color. There's 1 rectangle. Here's the second rectangle. Okay, so we counted 2 rectangles. I'm going to write 2. But technically, remember that these squares are also rectangles. So if you were counting those, that would be your 3rd rectangle, and this would be your 4th rectangle. So if you said 4 rectangles, you are also correct. Let's look and count our triangles. Here is a triangle. There's 1. Here's another triangle. That's 2. I'm going to change the color to show the 3rd one. Here's the 3rd triangle, is this big one right here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 triangles. There's 8. And there is 9. So we have 9 triangles. Now let's take a look and count our circles. There's 1, 2, and 3. 3 circles. Great job. I'm going to skip number 2 for now, and we're going to work on 3, and then we'll come back to number 2 just because I'm going to work on these on the board. Okay? So number 3 says make each shape using these shapes. We are going to find our quarter circles from yesterday and a square. Okay, we're going to start by making the shape here. Letter A. I'm going to use 2 squares. And 2 quarter circles. Just like that. Now let's make letter B. This time I'm going to put my 2 squares in the middle. And then I'm going to use 2 half circles, 2 quarter circles on each side. And here it is. Now let's make letter C. For letter C, we're going to use 1 quarter circle and another quarter circle and 1 more quarter circle. Here it is. How did you do? Did you make your shapes too? Great job. Okay, now let's go back and look at number 2. It says, how are these shapes grouped? Are they shaped by color? I'm going to look at each group. I notice that they are not the same color in each group, so they're not grouped by color. If this was small, this was medium, this was large, maybe I could say it was by size. So it's not by color, it's not by size. Is it by shape? Let's take a look. I see all rectangles. Remember, squares are also rectangles. Let's check these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I check to see that these are all 6 sides. And they're all hexagons. So I'm going to write hexagons. Okay, so I'm checking to see if they're by shape. So these are all hexagons, these are all rectangles. Let's check this one right here. Let's check their sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All of these had 5 sides. And these are all triangles, so I know all of these have 3 sides, and all of these shapes had 4 sides. So you could say that these are grouped by shape if you're following it by saying these are all rectangles. Or you can say these are sorted by the number of sides, grouped by the number of sides. And you would both be correct. I'm going to write down that these are grouped by the number of sides, or you could also say by corners. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm counting the corners. 1, 2, 3, 4. They all had 4 corners. Let's check the corners for our hexagons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 corners and 6 sides. Let's look at our 5-sided shapes. Let's look at their corners. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 sides and 5 corners. All of these have 3 sides. How many corners do you think each of them would have? You guessed it. All of them would also have 3 corners. So you can say grouped by the number of sides or corners. Let's look at the next page. We already worked on number 3, so we're going to move on to number 4. It says, what shape is missing in the pattern? What color is the missing shape? First, let's figure out the shapes. Square, triangle. Square, circle, triangle. Square, circle. So I have found the pattern that repeats. Square, circle, triangle. Square, circle, triangle, square, circle, triangle. Let's find out the color of the circle. I can look and see the circles are in the color of green. So I will write the word green. Let's check out letter B. Square, square, rectangle. Square, square, rectangle. Did you see that pattern? Square, square, rectangle. There we go. Sorry about that. Square, square, rectangle. Okay, let's check to see what color these shapes are going to be. I'm just going to say the colors this time around to see if there's a separate pattern. Blue, orange, blue, orange, blue. You guessed it. It's going to be orange. So I'm going to put O right in there. Blue, orange, blue. You got it. I'll put dark blue, DB. There we go. Let's look at letter C. Up, down, circle, circle. Up, circle, circle. Up, down, circle, circle. There's my repeating pattern. Up, you guessed it, down. There's my triangle facing down. Circle, circle. And then my pattern starts again. What color is this triangle that's facing down? Is it red or is it yellow? Let's check. We're just going to follow the colors this time, not the shapes. Red, yellow, yellow. Red, yellow. You guessed it, yellow. So there's a second pattern hiding inside of here, which was colors. We had red, yellow, yellow. I'm circling the pattern that repeats. Red, yellow, yellow. Red, yellow, yellow. Great job. Okay, let's turn to our last page. So exciting. We're almost ready for chapter 9. Let's read number 5. It says, how many figures are there in the repeating pattern? So first, let's find out what the pattern is. And when you do, go ahead and underline it. Short, tall, short, tall, short, tall, short, Did you notice the pattern? Short, tall, short, tall, short, tall, short, tall. How many figures are there in the repeating pattern? There are 2. Let's check this one. I'm going to call this shape the house. I'll call this 1 and 2, okay? Just so I know what to call them as I'm trying to see their patterns. House, 1, 2. House, 1, 2. See, when I say it out loud, I can really quickly hear the pattern. House, 1, 2. House, 1, 2. House, 1, 2. So how many figures or shapes are there in the repeating pattern? There are 3. Let's see. Rectangle, circle, triangle, square, square. Rectangle, circle, triangle, square, square. Rectangle, circle, triangle, Let's underline the pattern that we heard. Rectangle, circle, triangle, square, square. Rectangle, circle, triangle, square, square. Rectangle, circle, triangle, square, square. How many figures are in the repeating pattern, the part that repeats? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There were 5 figures that were repeating. I forgot to add my next figures. So short, tall, short, tall, short, tall, short, tall. I'll draw it in there. House, 1, 2, house, 1, 2, house. I need a shape that looks like this one, which is 1. This side is longer. There it is. And then for this one, we had rectangle, circle, triangle, square, square. Rectangle, circle, triangle, square, square. Let's do letter D. Up, down, rectangle, rectangle. Up, down, rectangle, rectangle. Up, down, rectangle. I'm just going to draw them as rectangles. Rectangle, rectangle. These are not rectangles. We should call them by their actual shapes. We can say cone, cone, rectangular prism, rectangular prism. Cone, cone, rectangular prism, rectangular prism. Cone, cone, rectangular prism, rectangular prism. Let's see which parts are repeating. Cone, cone, rectangular prism, rectangular prism. Cone, cone, rectangular prism, rectangular prism. Cone, cone, rectangular prism, rectangular prism. How many figures are repeating? 1, 2, 3, 4. Great job, you guys, and we are done with today's lesson. Now we are ready to take a look at our, you guessed it, workbooks. Let's open to the last exercise of chapter 8. And we're going to open to exercise 4. Now, exercise 4 is a little unique. It looks a little bit different than what we've done before in the past. You're going to really read carefully and follow along in the instructions. So for example, I'll start with letter A and do just one for you guys. It says, how many shapes are there in all? It's referring to the shapes here. There is 4. Which shape do you think the 4 represents? I can tell there's 1, 2, 3, 4 rectangles. So 4 rectangles plus, because it said there are in all, how many other shapes are left? There's 3 triangles. 4 squares plus 3 triangles equals 7 rectangles. 7 shapes in all. So then it says draw and color in 5 more rectangles. Draw 5 more rectangles. And then it says how many rectangles are there now? So you added 5, so you would put a plus. You started with 4 rectangles. You would put your 4 and then add to solve. Keep reading and just follow along the instructions. And remember, wherever it says color, you can just skip that part, okay? And then go to the next page where you're going to practice drawing in the missing shape and the pattern. Here it says color the smallest rectangle. You can find the smallest rectangle and put a little check on it, or just trace around that little rectangle so I can see it. So again, you can skip out the coloring part. Do the same thing here for the biggest circle. And then the last part is the challenge. It says there are 3 triangles in the following figure. How many triangles are in these figures? Go ahead and count and write down the amount of triangles you see. And on the last page, there's one more challenge. It says draw more triangles, squares, rectangles, and circles so that each row going horizontal and each column going vertical has all 4 shapes, sort of like the shape Sudoku. And that is the last part for this chapter. I hope you guys had a great day learning all about shapes. See you next time. Bye.